I'm speaking with Jim Stovall, a former national champion Olympic weightlifter, president of the Emmy Award-winning Narrative Television Network, and highly sought-after platform speaker. Stovall is also the author of the best-selling book The Ultimate Gift, now a major motion picture starring the late James Garner and Abigail Breslin. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. How did you get involved with this event?
I was contacted by the Tulsa Library to do an event, and it's a local author book fair, and it'll be on Saturday, September 13th, and the doors open at 1:30. I'll be speaking at 2 on how to take your ideas and turn them into books and movies and speeches and all those kind of things. But I've been involved with the library for many years as a reader and a writer, and I just appreciate what they do. And we have such an exceptional library system here in Tulsa. Myself and the 40 other authors involved in the book fair, we wanted to do everything we could to just support their efforts.
Have you done many events at the Hardesty Regional Library before?
I have done a few events at the Hardesty Library. I always enjoy it out there, and they do a great job. And, you know, as a highly paid speaker at arena events around the country, one of the things I'm really excited to get to do is I do one free charity event for every one I get paid for, and I try to focus those right here in Tulsa because this is and will always be my hometown. And, you know, anytime as an author you get to work for the library, it's a great opportunity.
That's great. Now, there's going to be a book signing at the event with more than 40 local authors. Will you be taking part in that as well?
I will be there signing books and movies and whatever else they have.
What books are you going to be bringing to sign?
I will probably bring my Ultimate Gift, Ultimate Life, The Lamp, some of the books that have been made into movies and are being made into movies. I have 28 books now, and 4 of them have been turned into movies with 2 more in production right now. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of things there for everybody.
What books are being produced into movies right now?
We are making a movie. It will be the 3rd film in the Ultimate Gift trilogy. First there was the Ultimate Gift and the Ultimate Life, and now we're making a movie with 20th Century Fox based on my novel, The Gift of a Legacy. So it kind of will continue that story that James Garner made so famous as Red Stevens, and we'll bring that full circle with the 3rd film in that trilogy. I'm also working on a film called Nouvelle Vie, which means new life in French, and it's an exciting story that was actually brought to me by an actor, Drew Waters, who was in one of our recent films, and he brought me the script and asked me to write the novel, and it's a great story of relationships and love and life and death, and part of it takes place here in America and part of it in Paris, and we'll be shooting part of the film over there.
Sounds like you got a lot going on right now. So you had mentioned James Garner. I'm sure you two had the chance to meet.
We did. I got to meet Mr. Garner on a couple of occasions. We were both inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame at the 100-year, the centennial of our state. And then when we started making The Ultimate Gift and then The Ultimate Life, we got connected on both of those films because he played Red Stevens in both of those. And he was just a big fan of the story and a big supporter of my work, and having him involved meant a great deal to me. And then recently he passed away, of course, and you know, there's just a huge outpouring of support for Mr. Garner, and the Hallmark Channel ran the 2 films we did together as a double feature over the weekend after he passed away, and tremendously high ratings and wonderful support. And you know, and I'm excited that that message that he brought to the screen will live on. And he told me when he made the film, he said, "This will be my last movie," and you know, after being in the business for 50 years, The Ultimate Gift kind of says what I want to say as I leave the stage. And I was very privileged to get to work with James Garner.
Wow, that's amazing. Getting back to the book fair, I know you're going to be giving the presentation, Turning Ideas into Books, Speeches, Columns, and Movies at 2 p.m. at the event. What advice can you offer now to writers and aspiring authors?
when I think of myself as an author and think back who I was before I started writing, it's almost laughable. I had never read a whole book cover to cover until I lost my sight. And then at age 29, I discovered the National Library for the Blind and audio books that I get through our local library here. And I helped to develop a high-speed player and started speeding it up more and more. And thanks to being able to listen to books at 600 to 800 words a minute, I can read a book every day. And there has not been a day in the last 22 years I haven't read a whole book. And becoming a reader turned me into a writer. So the first thing I would tell anybody that wants to be a writer is you've got to be a voracious reader, and that's the beginning. And then you've got to be willing to be bad. When you pick up, a Stephen King novel or a John Grisham novel or Ernest Hemingway or anything, what you're reading is the best work they ever did that made it into print. You don't see their first and second and third draft and 43rd draft and re-edited versions. You see their very, very best work. And unfortunately, in order to get good, you've got to be willing to be bad and work through it. One of my favorite authors, James Michener, probably one of the best writers of the 20th century, said that the average aspiring author is filled with 7 volumes of garbage, and most of them are not willing to dig through it to find the treasures beneath. And I think that's true in a lot of ways. It's a lot of hard work, and you've got to be willing to do that, but the rewards are amazing. I have readers from places all around the world that I've never heard of, and my books have been translated into dozens of languages, and those words go places and touch people I would never have the opportunity to come in contact with without my books.
Well, that is pretty inspiring. Many people probably don't think about famous authors building up to that fame over a long time.
Well, it's true. I mean, as an author, it only took me 8 years to become an overnight sensation. People want to know now, how do you become a number one best-selling author, or the books and the movies, and I have 10 million books in print and all that. And, they didn't see all of those drafts and ideas and things that just didn't work out quite that well. And then when it all came together, it's magic. I mean, I wrote The Ultimate Gift in 5 days, dictated it word for word here in my office in Tulsa, and there was never an edit or never a rewrite. The way I dictated that book over 5 days is the way that millions of people have read it now. And so every once in a while, lightning does strike, and wow, it's a great experience. But you've got to be willing to work through that and be there when the magic comes.
That sounds like pretty sound advice to me. Well, those are all the questions I had for you today. Is there anything that you wanted to add?
I would just encourage people to come out. I mean, I'm going to be the speaker, but there will be authors there that I have been fans of for many, many years. I'm excited to go see people like Chuck Sasser and people like that who are going to be there signing. So, if you come out, forget about me, but go see some of these great writers that are there. And we are blessed here in Tulsa to have a tremendous number of wonderful authors.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. That's Jim Stovall, author of many books, including the critically acclaimed book The Ultimate Gift, now a major motion picture featuring the late James Garner. You can catch Mr. Stovall later today at the local author book fair starting at 1:30 p.m. at the Hardesty Regional Library. Brittany Harlow, News 1023, KRMG.